What I first wanted to say is welcome everyone, but thanks so much for joining in this group. I want it to be a discussion. I want it to be individual to each of your unique areas, whether you, I know some of you do shelter medicine, some of you do optho, we got imaging, we got internal medicine, we got all kinds of things here, ER. So when you feel like you have a question about things, this is really not a training as much as an interaction, so we can all elevate, to a different level, and me as much as you guys, because I learned just as much from that. So, monitoring anesthesia is really done to assure that adequate planes of central nervous system depression occur. And in human anesthesiology, monitoring nowadays is done to reduce those more dangerous anesthetic agents. And what kind of agents are we talking about when we speak about dangerous anesthetic agents? Well, 9 times out of 10, 2 classes come up. The induction agents, whereby we truly induce unconsciousness, and then the maintenance agents, isoflurane, sevoflurane, desflurane. Because even though we think they're very titrable, what's going on is we're inducing a state of CNS depression that subdues or obtuns pain. And to do that, we have to lower everything in the brain and the cardiovascular and respiratory systems down to a level that is really teetering on fatal. Really sad, but that's the kind of pressure that you guys are harnessed with when you anesthetize a patient. And you guys are so good at it. You're good at balancing that life and death. But we're basically titrating poisons. And what we try to do during that titration is to keep up oxygen delivery. And in terms of oxygen delivery, if we're sure oxygen's getting delivered, we're sure glucose is getting delivered, we're sure CO2 is getting removed. So thankfully, we're keeping the patient going. When we think about which organs are most responsible for keeping our body going, we look at what percentage cardiac output, that's the column on the far right, of each of these organ systems receives. Every time the heart pumps, the liver receives 28% of that pump. Every time the heart pumps, the kidneys receive 23%. That's a quarter of our blood flow. Not only that, look at this. Look at how high the blood flow need of the kidney is in mLs per gram per minute. So speed, of that blood going through. Every time the heart pumps, about 14% goes to the brain, only 5% goes to the heart. That's ironic. But true, these two have the highest blood flow. When we give anesthesia and we give shock, we reduce that cardiac output. And whether we induce shock by taking a femoral artery and cutting it, whether the animal just got hit by a car and its spleen ruptured, or whether we give isoflurane and sevoflurane. It's not that blood leaves the body, but blood pools in different areas. So we basically are inducing a drop in this cardiac output. So when we give that drop in cardiac output, which organ systems suffer the most? The ones with the highest blood flow needs, and the ones that receive the most of the cardiac output. So with this chart alone, you can see why the kidneys suffer the most with anesthesia.